Hi everyone, it's Micheline from Americana Quilting. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We're going to do a cute little project today. It's really going to be fun. But first we're going to start out with a bit of a fabric haul. And this comes from one of my favorite fabric companies. This is Brooklyn Fabric Company. I've talked to you about them before. Great fabric, great product. They get it out to you very, very quickly. They have great prices. So I love this company. And in every order, you get a pattern. This one happens to be some cute little pumpkins because it's fall now. So that's really fun too. And when I say great prices, I mean great prices. I have been, I need to stop. I need an intervention. I keep buying these like random fat quarter bundles. What was this one called? Mystery fat quarter pack. Okay, there's 20 of them here, and it was $24. So that's a little over $1 a fat quarter, and some of them are really adorable. I mean, this one's got chickens on it. This is a gorgeous fabric. A lot of really beautiful ones. You know, there are a few that are kind of weird. Not really in this one, but I need to stop. I've got plenty of random pieces of fabric. But wait, there's more. I also got, this is an end of a bolt mystery bundle. Yeah. And let me move this out of the way. And so this one, I mean, this is like a half yard of fabric here. There's several with a half yard of fabric, and then a lot of fat eighths. So, you know, just great pieces. But I don't need any more of this kind of stuff, so I'm going to try not to buy any more. Now, what I'm going to be using today, and this is why I started with my little fabric haul, is they also, and this was $17.99. The reason I've started with that is they've also got these 100 pack of 5-inch squares for $6.99. 100 for $6.99. So I am doing a quilt today, and I am using 2 of those 100-piece bundles. And I had to add a few more because I think I needed a total of 420 pieces, and out of each piece I'm going to get 2. So for about $13, I'm making the entire front of this quilt. So it's a good price. Now let me get to the project at hand, what I'm going to make out of these. So I've got some darks and I've got some lights. Now, you've heard me talk about the potato chip block that I was introduced to by Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore. I'll leave a link again to her website. She is fantastic, and I absolutely fell in love with this type of block. It is just perfect. I've told you before, the pieces aren't too big, they're not too small. It's not too easy, it's not too hard. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. It is perfect. Okay, so that's why I love this block so much. But I'm not gonna make a block. You know, I gotta put my own twist on it. I am going to make a potato chip quilt. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start in the middle with the 2 pieces, and I'm just going to keep going around and around and around and around and around and around and around. So I'm going to make one giant potato chip block, and I'm going to alternate them light, dark, light, dark. So it's kind of going to be a rectangular trip around the world, if you will. It'll end up being, if I put 14 pieces across the top and down the side, it'll end up being 56 by 60 inches. Not a bad size, right? And if I had more 5-inch squares, I could make it even bigger. But this is where I'm going to stop. So there's one cut, 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. That's it. That's all the cuts. So I'm going to get all of these cut into 2.5 by 5.5 inch strips. And then we'll take it to the sewing machine. Okay, I got all my pieces cut. Now here's what I'm going to do. Because I want this to be really scrappy and I don't really want to pick, be so conscientious that I'm picking, I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to put them in here, and I'm going to shake them all about. And I'm hoping that I get them all separated because there were two of a kind. There were two 5-inch squares alike of each print. So that means now there are 4 that are alike. That looks pretty mixed up. Let's see here. Did I get them all out of there? Nope, there's a couple of more in here. So I'm going to just kind of do that a little bit more. Try and get them all just messed up. And I'm going to put the darks in this bag. Okay. I'm going to put the light ones in this bag. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shake it all about. Now, it's time to talk about my design. Okay, so I'm going round and around and around and around and around. Well, rather than do one piece at a time, I'm going to do a bunch of chain piecing. So I've made myself a cheat sheet. And of the darks, I'm going to, oh, there's my piece of paper. Of the dark ones, I'm going to need, hi, Sarge. Come here, Sarge. Sarge, come over here. Come over here. You got to come around. Come around. Come here. Sarge will help me explain this next part. Come here. Just a good boy. You're so pretty. You're such a pretty old man. Isn't he a pretty old man? He's a good boy. So there are 4 sides. So I'm going to need 4 strips of 14 end to end, sewn end to end of the darks. I'm going to need 4 sets of 12 darks sewn end to end. 4 of 10, 4 of 8, 4 of 6, 4 of 4, and 4 of 2. Of the lights, I'm going to need 4 sets of 13 sewn end to end together. 4 at 11, 4 at 9, 4 at 7, 4 at 5, 4 at 3, and then 1 is going to be this center one. So he'll have 2 sewn together and then 1 on top and 1 on bottom. So let's go to the sewing machine and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do all this. I'm going to chain piece it all. Here we are at the machine. I've got my bag of lights, my bag of darks. We're going to start with the lights and we're going to start with that very center piece. So we're going to get us a couple of pieces here. There's 2. Yeah. See, I'm already picking. I shouldn't do that. I should just grab what I grab and make do with it. This is where I have trouble letting go. Okay. This is about the only one that I'm not going to chain piece. Okay. Here's our center. Now I'm going to pick another light. This one will do. It's a nice little green one. And I'm going to put it across the top. Or bottom. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call the top and the bottom. Okay. Get another one. Did better that time. I didn't even look. I just grabbed one. Okay, there we go. There's the center. Now, the way the potato chip block works is we would put 2 darks here and 2 here, butted up end to end. Let me just show you. Get a couple of those out. So there'd be a dark one there. That's so cute. A dark one there. And I'm just going to put him there and him there. Okay, so we'd sew these 2 together end to end and put them on either side. And we'd get some more darks. And I'd sew these together end to end. Not to drop them all. Okay. And 2 over here. Sew them together end to end, and they go on the ends. So that's why I'm going to be chain piecing. That can't help the microphone any, can it? I'm going to be chain piecing those pieces together end to end. But I wanted to do that first center part. So the next ones we need to do are the lights, because I'm going to do all the lights first, and I need 4 pieces that are 3 pieces long. So I'm just going to take out 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's grab another 3. They really didn't come apart as well as I would have liked them to. They're kind of sticking together. 1, 2, 3. And you see how I thought, oh gosh, that's a brown next to a brown. That doesn't matter because they're going around the square, not right next to it. So we'll just do it like this. I only want one of the same kind. Okay, so here are my 4 3s, and now I'm going to chain piece all of those. Now I could certainly go back and forth doing the lights and the darks and putting it on there. I might very well do that, I'm not sure. Right now this is like a big, well, it's not exactly a 9 patch because we've got more than 9. But you know what I mean. Okay. Now we're going to go with this one. Get my leader back over there again. Whoop. Okay. Almost done with this. All right. That is essentially the 3rd row. Let's pull some darks out and do the 2nd row. That way I can show you how they go together. So here are my lights. They're going to go on after this row of darks. So I need 2s. 2s, pairs. I really got that apart, didn't I? See how there's 2 of each kind? So I'm having to pull those apart. There we go. Let's go to the other end. Okay, so that's 4 pairs. Now let's just sew those together in any order, just as long as they are end to end. This is such a cute little fabric. All right. Now I think what we're going to do is we're just going to finger press lightly. Just finger press them open, and there are no seams that cross over one another. That's another beauty of this potato chip block, or in our case, this potato chip quilt. There are no seams that are going to cross over. It's laid out in kind of a brick. It ends up being in a brick pattern, and I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so here's our centerpiece. We're now going to turn it this way and put this one here and this one here. Okay, and again, doesn't matter which way your seams are going, they are not going to cross over. Don't have that quite to the end. This is another one of those, especially since we're doing it all the way around, that 1/4 inch seam, man, it is super important in this one. You might be able to get away with it when it's just 2 pieces for your 1/4 inch seam to be either bigger or smaller, but just think when I have 14 pieces on here, how much more difficult that's going to be. I was looking for my leader. There's another one. If it starts to grow over those 14 pieces sewn together length to end, and then you're trying to put it on the last round, it might be kind of difficult, so you want to be real careful. I would venture a guess that's the same in any time you do a trip around the world, and you know those are usually done with the small squares. Okay, so now let's finger press this open. So we've got one round of darks. Now I'm going to rotate it, and we're going to put darks here and darks here. And some of these lean more towards mediums, and it's a scrappy quilt. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. These are the fabrics I had. I wanted to use them. It's a good use of your scrap fabrics. So there. Okay. That one's done. So see, it does kind of get to looking rectangular in its entirety. So that's why at the very end it's going to be 56 by 60. That's just how it ends up. All right, here we go. And now we have these ready to come on here. Oops, except I have to cut them apart. Kind of hard to sew on together. Sew on like that, huh? I got it. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to put him here. And this is still small enough that I don't need a pin necessarily, but I think as the rows get longer, I will probably start using some pins. So I'm going to go down here to the end, and I'm going to match that up. And I'm just going to straighten this out, get my seams going the direction. And I'm kind of going with the seams away from the center block, if you will. So like this seam right here is going, I pressed it away from the center. Okay. That one. Now we're going to do this one. That right on the end. Now I'm going to come down here and match them, like so. Turn it. Grab one of these guys. You can see if you were just making a block this size, And I have made a quilt out of blocks just this size before. Just how quick this is. Okay, there we go. Voila. So I'm just going to keep going around and around and around. So my next row would be 4, because last time I did 3, 1, 2, 3. So the next one is going to be 4 darks, and then it'll be 5 lights. So I'm just going to chain piece all of those numbers, and then I'll start putting it back together, and I'm going to show you how it looks in the end. Good morning, everybody. So let me give you a reminder. This is where we left off yesterday on our potato chip quilt, not block, quilt. And what I've done is I chain pieced all my lights and all my darks end to end, just as I showed you how I had to put these end to end and sew them together. So I chain pieced all the lengths that I was going to need. I needed 4 at 6, 4 at 8, 4 at 10, 12, and 14. And similarly with the lights, this would be our next round. This is 4 pieces at 5. So that's what I did. And as I got to the amount that I needed, I made sure I clipped those off of what I was chain piecing so that I wouldn't go back and chain piece even more to it accidentally. Not that that would have been a huge, big deal. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clip these apart, and I'm going to get it sewn on to as the next round. And I'll keep going until I've got it all on there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? Well, I could not be more pleased about how this trip around the world potato chip style turned out. I absolutely love it. Now this block finished, and literally it is a block. It finished 56 inches by 60 inches. I still don't have it finished. I'll quilt that when my long armor gets repaired. I needed 224 darks and 196 light pieces cut at 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches. That's it. Those are the only figures you need to know. If you want to make it bigger, just make more rounds and use more fabric. I think I probably would have gone a little bit larger had I had any more of these fabrics. But if I had started cutting up additional fabrics after I'd made it this size, you really would have noticed that it was a different fabric starting out here. So I left it at this size. I think it's a nice size. It would be a great lap quilt, maybe for a teenager or somebody in a dorm. This wouldn't take up a whole lot of room, and they could still snuggle with it a little bit. Great for a car ride. Perfect size for a car ride. I always have a blanket or a quilt in my car. I think it turned out fantastic. The worry with sewing so many pieces together on their narrow side and keeping them in a nice straight line is that you'll start to get a wave. And I don't think this did this at all. I think it turned out really nice and straight. You do have to be careful when you're pressing it. I didn't do any pressing until the very end, and then I laid it down face down, and I started from the middle, and I didn't go this way because that would have been on the bias, and I could have stretched it. I was very careful to go this way or this way, and that kept it straight. You can see it's pretty doggone straight. You know, get out of here, fly. It's not absolutely perfect, but nothing ever is. So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, as far as no waving, and all the colors are fairly balanced. And again, I chain pieced every bit of that just about. So I literally started that yesterday afternoon at about 1 o'clock, and it is 4:15 now. So it's taken me just that amount of time to do it. It was really, really a fast quilt. And that's from cutting it to finishing it. Well, except for the long arming, and you all know why. And this is a size that I could long arm on my home deck machine because it's not that large. But I'm going to wait until my long arm machine's done, repaired, and then I'll do it. I don't think I'll do a border on it, even though that would make it a little bit larger. I just don't know what color I would pick to do the border out of. I think it would be too busy. So I'm going to just leave it just like this. I hope you all like this video. I hope you like this quilt and will give this a try. Again, thanks to Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore in introducing me to the potato chip block. I'm super happy about it. Now, if you liked this video and you want to see more like it, please like, share, and subscribe. That way others might get to see it too. You know how those algorithms are. But for now, have a wonderful day and stay quilting.